So I think so many people were never aware of that. And again, too, as humans, we've spent centuries with regular schedule. We got up when the sun came up and we went to bed when the sun went down, and we did hard work and we worked together, and until we were tired and had natural sleep. But now in our electronic world and our world of crazed foods and our crazed patterns, and it's actually almost a holy grail now to get a good night's sleep with appropriate deep sleep and REM sleep.
Welcome to the Miracle Plant Podcast, the show that inspires, promotes, and gives you a daily dose of inspiration from the people who have used cannabis to change their lives in extraordinary ways. Here's your host, Justin Benton.
Welcome back to the Miracle Plant Podcast, where we discuss this miracle plant with so many names and how it's helping people in so many extraordinary ways. Well, it's almost here. The Take Control of Your Health Summit is just days away. And if you're listening to this before January 14th, you still have time to head on over to www.tcoyh.org and get signed up for this free 3-day summit with world experts on the 5 pillars of health that are going to allow you to take control of your health. The insights, you won't hear this from anywhere else, and we're going to ensure you have the implementation tools and the accountability that 2022 is going to be the year that you fully take control of your health so you can live the life that you deserve and the life of your dreams. So we have on the show today with us Dan the Man out in Buffalo, New York. Let's go Bills. And my mom, Janet Benton Gaillard, joins us again after a nice vacation in the Midwest. So welcome, you two. How were your holidays? How's everybody feeling?
Well, I think Dan had more fun going to Florida. Here in Nebraska, it was minus 25 the other day, and with wind chill, and we're hoping for above freezing today. And I happened to get sick, which I rarely do. I did take the test, came out negative. But there's just a lot of just general illness going around, especially if you travel through airports or go out on New Year's Eve. So anyway, glad to be back and healthy again. Had to use all of my magic health tricks to take care of it. But really excited to get back into the business of helping people with their health. And so excited to be here.
I was on last week with you, Justin, so we talked a little bit about our holidays, but yeah, everything went good for my holidays, and just looking forward to this upcoming event.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk a little bit about a couple of the other speakers that are going to be joining you two. And the schedule of events will be released on Monday. So everyone who's listening to this, you can just head over to the website, www.tcoyh. That stands for Take Control of Your Health.org. And some of the guests that we're going to have are just really, really cool people. Amongst you two, I know you're going to be able to join us. And Dan, I got you slotted in for a little, back and forth on exercise and all the great stuff that you're doing when you're in your home state or where you normally live out in Colorado. So that'll definitely be part of it. And Janet, we got you all 3 days in a bunch of different spots. So I'm glad you're healthy and feeling better and get that voice rested up because there's going to be a lot of talking. And just so excited to have you guys along with all these other guests that we have. One of the guests it's going to be fun is Saturday morning to really get things energized and going. We're going to have Steve Rizzo, who is a stand-up comedian for over 25 years in New York City. And, headlined all the big places and worked with all the big names. And he transitioned over to a motivational speaker. And he wrote this incredible book called Motivate This. And when I read it, I was really, really blown away with just how insightful it was, how real it was. I mean, I've read a lot of books, and actually I'm more of a listener to books. But this book had just it really grabs you, and it really gives you some just brass tacks insights how how to start taking control of again, your mindset. So we're going to have a VIP, package available at the website too. If you want to have a little Q&A, if you want to have we're going to be giving a signed book of that book, Motivate This, away as well. That'll be included in the VIP package, as well as being able to have direct access to them and some implementation tools too, and accountability to make sure that these incredible insights that we learn are great, but until it's actually been put into practice and it becomes a part of your daily habits, it doesn't really count, in my books anyways. Learning information is only half the battle. Actually implementing it is the most important part of all these great things. So Steve will be there. We're also going to have Dr. William Courtney will be joining us on Saturday as well. He is going to be going all the way down the rabbit hole on how hemp and cannabis is a dietary essential into our diet. And we had a podcast on that in a previous episode, which you can check out. But he's going to be talking all about his expertise, his research on this topic that is really fundamental in what our mission is, and the movement to heal the world is for people to understand how to incorporate this miracle plant into their daily regimen, their daily routine. Just like we juice kale or we eat celery or we eat a salad, hemp, cannabis, whatever you want to call it, really should be a staple in all of our diets. And so he's going to be talking deep about that. I know my mom will as well be adding her decades of experience as a holistic health coach to an integrative nutritionist to really understand how the body works and how to best get your body, fine-tuned so it can have a strong immune system, and how you can be healthy and have energy and sleep well and just live a great life, right? I mean, that's what we're doing here. So we're really going to be excited. So that'll be on Saturday. On Friday, we also we have so many cool people. Mika Shoemaker, who's actually married to Craig Shoemaker. He's the love machine. If anyone knows him, he's out of Philly. But I guess we have a comedian theme. She's going to do an incredible breathwork exercise, and she's helped so many people with breathwork, and a lot of people are familiar with like Wim Hof, and she has some really cool techniques. So she's going to be doing that live, and that's Mika Shoemaker. We also have Laura Singer, who is an incredibly experienced yoga instructor. She actually does yoga on the beach. We sponsor events for her weekly, every Friday in sunny Ventura, California, on the beach. And so she helps dozens of people who show up and try some great CBD oils along the beach. And she's going to be doing a live yoga training with some meditation. And so that's going to be fun. In fact, we're going to be filming it on the beach. How cool is that? Like, oh my God, like we are going to film a yoga session on the beach while she's doing it and live streaming it for everyone to participate at home. So just so many cool things. I got more guests to talk about. We have, the Vrains are going to be on there. This is an amazing power couple. They work with, they call them OGs, original grandmas. And she's a painter that, she's been paid millions of dollars to paint portraits and all these beautiful paintings for people around the world. And she just realized that all she was doing was working. And it was fulfilling, but it just felt like work. And so they decided during the pandemic that they were going to broaden their horizons. And all those people out there that were dabblers and like, I like to kind of paint a little bit, they found a whole subsection of people, the original grandmas, like, 60 plus, who wanted to paint, didn't have time, didn't have instruction, and they developed this incredible community. And they're going to talk about mental health, and they're going to talk about finding things to keep our minds active. As we know, there's so many of these new ailments and diagnoses that are out there that have to do with mental health, and they're going to show you how to keep your brain active and do things that really keep you engaged. So they're going to be speaking as well. I think they're on Friday. I'll have to double check the schedule. We're getting everyone locked in for those as well. So again, there's going to be so many incredible speakers, and there's lots and lots of excitement. And again, you can sign up for this whole thing for free. We want to make sure you get this access to this information. But at the end, we are going to have an opportunity for you to ensure that you implement it as well. So there are going to be some packages that hold you accountable, and these same speakers are going to can be involved in your daily routine and your daily life moving forward, if that's what you choose. So be on the lookout for that as well. So today we want to talk about some more of the 5 pillars of health, and one of those pillars is hydration. And so hydration is so important. We as Americans, specifically just talking about our country, are so dehydrated. And a lot of that is because we don't know how much water we're supposed to drink. Part of it is because we're drinking things that aren't water, that are filled with all types of refined sugars and, chemicals and things that you couldn't pronounce with a master's degree. But essentially, drinking clean water, at least half your weight in ounces, every day can do so much for your health, so much for your energy. And I wanted to let my mom talk a little bit more about her research on water. And we're even going to have a 10-day water challenge as a part of the summit as well. So make sure you're checking that out as well. So, Janet, do you want to help kick off a little talk on water and how important it is for people to take control of their health?
I do. And it's, to me, one of the real basic steps of any kind of health, or just actually, living any kind of a decent life. Just to start off, it's just fascinating that 85% of our body is water. And so our bones and that structure we think of as our body is just really a structure for the water-based activities in our body and brain, to work. And so with that much water in our body, you think we'd understand how important water is. And I think in the old days, we probably did, because we worked hard and drank water, and it was just a natural cycle. Right now, most people, if they feel thirsty, they interpret it as hunger. And so they tend to overeat then. And if they do look for a liquid, it is rarely any kind of healthy, pure water. The most common things are coffee and tea and pop and fruit drinks or flavored waters at the store, or whatever type of water is popular at the moment. And there's a huge difference in our body just getting pure water coming in that can use immediately versus you have to bring it in with additives that have to be digested and sorted. And some of the additives are so unhealthy that the body can't even break them down to eliminate them. So it literally creates fat cells. And that's a lot of the ways we get fat cells, is eating food with weird chemicals and things our bodies can't recognize or break down. So the whole idea of just getting enough water, I have yet to meet anybody, unless they've had a health crisis, or some athletes that realize that water is important, who is actually drinking anywhere near enough water. And as Justin mentioned, so much of the water, even if you're trying to find good water, is just polluted. Any kind of tap water from anywhere is going to have chemical runoff in it. In farming communities, you're going to have nitrates and nitrites. And we all have these there's cheap filters out there that people have, like the ones from the picture, or the ones that you hook on your faucet. And even the really good systems can't get out a lot of the pollutants in the water. Another pollutant that we don't even think about is called PPCP, and it's pharmaceutical and personal care contaminants. And literally, when we're all taking our pills, and especially taking like all those vitamins that are coated, or any kind of coated pill, often they come out the same way they went in, and then that pill then is broken down in our water system. And the filters we have, and the big community filters, industrial filters, just aren't able to get those out. And so we're basically taking everybody's medication. In the same way with all the additives in our shampoos, and they even talk about little microplastic particles in our personal care items. And so we just don't think deeply about what we're doing. And then we live in a country that's so full of, commercials and pressure: buy this brand, buy this brand. And there's very few companies focused on health that are making kind of an organic, healthy product. The majority of them are highly chemical. And so we're continuing to pollute our water and therefore pollute our bodies. And then another thing that a real key thing in the whole area of water too is that so many of us, if we don't trust our tap water, then we start drinking from plastic bottles, who then the plastic leaches back into that water. And the FDA controls the water in plastic bottles, but there really aren't any standards or anybody out there checking it. And so literally it's a totally unregulated field. And then the final thing, which we're all aware of with our environment and problems with the environment, is all those single-use plastics that are basically plastic comes from an oil. Um, they are just polluting the environment and just massively causing many problems. So again, too, the water, most importantly, is our body and just trying to find a source of healthy water. And so, yes, I can't wait to talk more about it and look at some solutions of healthy water and then also help people. All right, so the real quick thing I always say, take your weight, divide it in half, and that's how many ounces of water you should drink a day. And I am guessing probably about, if I'm positive, maybe 10% of people are drinking enough water regularly every day. So it's a huge topic, and it's just the basis of all of our health and all of our body functioning. So I'm very excited to talk more in depth about that.
Hey, Janet, real quick question. The carbonated water, it's pretty popular right now, even just plain carbonated water like Perrier or sparkling water, which especially when you're in Europe, they're always saying, "Do you want gas or no gas in your water?" Uh, have you done any research on what's on the benefits of one versus the other?
I personally stick with just plain water. I know the carbonated water, and people have those machines or whatever they are in their kitchen counters that add the carbonation. And if you're going to drink any kind of carbonated water, that kind you make your own, it's going to be better than many of the ones that you buy bottled or in jars. Again, to just always think of your body as like a million-year-old machine, and you can't just suddenly in the last 100 years change the fuel. And so again, too, I always recommend just going with the plain water. I know it's not as exciting or as fun, but anytime you start adding anything to the plain water, you're interfering with the body's easiest ways to use it and utilize it. So I take the fun out of it, but I will also talk more in depth about that too.
Awesome. Yeah, and again, it's some of the things that we've heard, some of the things that you're hearing now, you've heard before, and you're being reminded. But some of the things you're not, and it really just comes down to fundamentals, and that's why at the take control of your health summit, we're going to have a 10-day water challenge, and it'll be a group that we'll all be signing up for together and holding ourselves accountable, and there'll be daily reminders. And essentially, what the challenge is asking you to do is for 10 days to drink only water. Now, you can also eat food, because trust me, there's water fastings and some really great research behind that too. But we're not going, that's the advanced level. We're just starting with going 10 days of drinking just water and taking notes and then checking back in after 5 days and checking back in after 10 days and seeing what just drinking uh, good water and enough water every day just does for your life. Just one thing, one thing. People are signing up for all these gym memberships and taking pills and supplements and these trendy diets and what have you. But if you just did that, the proof's in the pudding. We'll check back in with everybody and see how everyone feels, their energy level, their sleep. Uh, just they're only surprised and impressed. So that is the hydration portion. As you can tell, there's a lot of great information here that you won't be hearing anywhere else. And we want to make sure that we're holding you accountable, that you have an accountability partner. It's kind of like, exercising every morning is fun and good for you, but it's a lot easier if you have someone who you're going to be meeting to go run on the beach with. And that can give you sometimes that little bit of extra motivation that you need to make sure that you get it done. And it's the same thing here. We're going to be implementing tools and things to make sure that you're implementing what you need to do and giving you that little extra charge. So that is the hydration portion of the 5 pillars of health. We also are going to talk about sleep. It's so important. There's just no better way for our bodies to naturally heal and recharge than getting a good night's sleep. So the second pillar that we'll be discussing. And obviously, we're the Miracle Plant Podcast, and the top three reasons that people come and use this Miracle Plant, just in general, are pain, stress, and sleep. And so it's funny when we talk to people who try our products, they come for pain and stress, 80% of the time, roughly. And the question that we used to get a lot, which we know we don't really get much anymore, because I think people kind of know that this plant really doesn't have side effects, but occasionally we'll get it. And the question will be, so what are the side effects, or are there any side effects? And so my go-to answer is, well, deeper sleep. And so people are, they're puzzled because we live in this conditioning. If you turn your TV on and watch a commercial and it has these happy people on TV, but if you just listen to the side effects, it's just like, oh my God, it could kill me, or have crazy thoughts, or liver malfunctioning, and all this stuff is like, hey man, I'll just keep the rash. No thanks, keep your pills. And so people are just conditioned to use the side effects. Well, the side effects when you eat healthy and drink water and exercise and are mindful and do all these five and have great nutrition, the side effects are you feel great and you sleep better. And when you sleep, your body can recharge, your brain literally recharges, your cells recharge, and everything just, that's how we just are feeling great, and our body can be at optimal performance. There's just nothing better than a good night's sleep. And so we're going to be going down the sleep. There's lots of different, ways to approach it, but there's just some real simple fundamentals about sleep. We have all these great technology now, whether it's the smartwatches or the rings or things like that, that you can have monitoring your sleep to see if you are getting that REM sleep. And I know Dan's talked about that, as well as my mom, Janet. And so we have technology on our side, and there's also things you can be doing, making sure like you're not having any access to blue lights like televisions or phones, at least an hour before bed. Using products and supplements like ours. We have a great product called Chill-X that people love to take about a half hour before bed under the tongue. It's sublingual oil. And there's even more things that you can do, but we'll have to save a few things for you when you come in and sign up for the free 3-day Take Control of Your Health Summit. So Janet, do you have anything that you wanted to share on sleep and your research?
Yeah, sleep is just fascinating. And again, too, like the super basics of life: food, water, sleep. And like millions of people, literally over 70 to 80 million people have trouble sleeping. And I think during the pandemic, it's probably up to 150 or 200 million, almost two-thirds of the people in America. Sleep is a very delicate physiological balance to get your body relaxed and everything, get rid of pain, and so you're not stressed and anxious, and to get everything balanced to get that natural sleep. And so it's actually, when you're getting sleep, it's showing your body, by the way, it's doing a pretty good job, getting through things and being balanced. And I think a lot of problems we have with sleep in America, besides our diet and our pain and our anxiety and the medications we take during the day and the coffee we drink and the alcohol we drink, so we wake up in the middle of the night, those sorts of things, we're just so busy with our jobs, but we're also so busy not thinking. And I think so many Americans are afraid to really sit and like face their own thoughts at night. So that's why you see people, on their phone till they fall asleep, with the TV on, or reading, or doing something. And many of those activities do interfere with sleep, and especially our electronics that are just everywhere in our rooms, in our bedrooms, and nonstop in our hands. And it's just so important, as we talked earlier about sleep, that you have to get your deep sleep, which happens in the early stages of sleep, usually before midnight. And that's when our body heals. And so if you're not getting to bed early, if you're tossing and turning past midnight, you're not getting that deep healing sleep. And then illnesses just keep compounding and stress keeps compounding. And then after midnight, we have our REM, or dream sleep. And people think, oh, I don't care if I don't have dreams. I don't remember them anyway. But our dreams are when all of our thoughts of the day are put into long-term memory storage. And so if you're not getting your sleep, then you just become forgetful and you can't remember things or process things as well, too. And dreams also give us emotional solutions. So if you had a fight with your boss that day, or your kids screamed all night or something, during sleep is when your body works through that and helps solve those issues. And then for people that are out there really trying to change the world and do important things, sleep is also when you get inspiration and those critical new ideas, and that click of, oh, that would go together, I could do that. That kind of inspirational, unique thinking also happens with appropriate amounts of sleep. And so sleep is more than just a thing to lay down at night and spend some time in bed before morning. It's just critical to how our body works. And then during the night too is when our body's assimilating food that we've eaten during the day and begins the cleansing process. And so there's many, many things we can do and recommend for sleep changes. But the most important thing, I think, is for us to be aware that, A, we all need good quality sleep. And I love the idea, and I often use it myself, the different, Fitbit watches and Garmin watches and Apple watches and all those things, even just for a while, to use one to kind of evaluate what kind of sleep you're getting. And I think many people would be very surprised at how poor their sleep quality is. And so I'm very excited to go in depth into the whole sleep issue and sleep solutions.
Absolutely. And I know Dan had talked about before, you were saying, Dan, that you never thought you were getting, you thought you were doing fine with sleep. You felt like you were a good sleeper and everything was good, but then didn't you have some type of a smart watch or some type of device that was measuring your REM or your deep sleep, and it kind of awoken you to like, wait a second here.
Yeah, I think it was a conversation we had about how your products have helped with my sleep, and I pointed out that never in my life had an issue with sleeping. I can sleep anywhere, anytime. I always fall asleep easy, and I always felt like that was one of my superpowers. And then I got this thing called a Whoop strap. It's similar to Aura. I don't know if any of your listeners are familiar with these. Whoop just measures heart variability, your heart rate variability, and it also tracks everything when you're sleeping, and just a lot of other things more for fitness. And I noticed that I was getting a lot of sleep, but I was really weak in a couple stages, REM for one and deep sleep for the other, and super frustrating because I was like, wow, I thought this was, I was really good at this, and it turns out I wasn't doing so well. And I don't remember whether it was Chillax or something. You sent me something, and I didn't put two and two together until well afterwards. But I was like, wow, these things are going good right now. Finally getting that REM number up and the deep sleep numbers, time in it. And then I don't know if I ran out or I don't know, but then the numbers went the other way, and I was like, oh, there it is. I was just, my body was just not in balance, and I think the CBD was, helped me get back into get everything back in the groove and back in balance, and it really improved the quality of my sleep. I still can get, my quantity was never the issue, but quality, I guess, is really improved.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's so important to realize that. And I think most people don't until you do some sort of measurement. And I know with my Fitbit, actually I like my Garmin Venue the most now because it measures thousands of things. But sometimes I'll loan it to people for a week. And like I had people I worked with who sadly were drinking, I don't know, 5 beers or a bottle of wine or whatever at night to go to sleep. And they would go to sleep. I call it passing out. But they're not getting, the deep sleep and the REM sleep. And that's the types you need to heal. The rest is just light sleep, and I'm sure it has some basic functions. But for really physiologically and psychologically, healing our body and meeting a body's needs, that it's just not going to cut it without the REM and the deep sleep. So I think so many people were never aware of that. And again, too, as humans, we've spent centuries with regular schedule. We got up when the sun came up and we went to bed when the sun went down, and we did hard work and we worked together. And then, so we were tired and had natural sleep. But now in our electronic world and our world of crazed foods and our crazed patterns, and it's actually almost a holy grail now to get a good night's sleep with appropriate deep sleep and REM sleep.
those are two of the 5 pillars. And the third pillar that we're going to talk about, but I don't really want to go too far down the window because it's really the pillar that got this whole podcast started, got this whole movement started, and that is the pillar of nutrition and food and nutrition and supplements. And so, that is really where our most of our research or most of our life, most of our, like I said, our mission is based upon. And we're going to have Dr. William Courtney. Of course, my mom Janet's going to be speaking on it. I'll be speaking on it. And part of when you sign up for the VIP package, you're going to be getting all of our popular products mailed to you, so you can actually try them along with, as you learn about them, you'll be getting them for pennies on the dollar of what they normally cost. And then that really is our mission, is to get these products in people's hands. We there's, like I've said before, 4, 5, 6 years ago when we got started, we had when we would mention CBD, people didn't know what we were talking about, and they would call it CDB and all kinds of stuff. And that's not the case as much anymore. Just for America, we can speak about. There's a study I think I saw somewhere around 81% of Americans have heard of CBD, so they know what it is. Now it's not a matter of knowing what it is; it's more about understanding what it is and what it is not. And so there was estimated to be around 5,000 companies in the CBD space before March of 2020. That number is certainly cut in half, if not more, because of just economics and things like that. But it was funny. I had a person call the shop yesterday, and they were like looking for CBDA, and he was like frustrated. And his brother was 25 years old and has had really severe seizures all of his life, and he's blind, and he had gone to a neurologist that had recommended CBDA, and he was calling around, all of these, kind of bigger name companies asking for CBDA. He says, my neurologist says it really helps. I need to try it. And these bigger companies are like, yeah, we don't have it. And he's like, what is going on? You could just feel the frustration in his voice. And then he called us, and I picked up the phone, and he's like, do you have CBDA? And I go, oh yeah. So that's all we got. He goes, what do you have it? I go, yeah. He was just like perplexed. He's like, I don't understand. He goes, you talking raw CBD, right? I'm like, yep. I said, we've basically started a movement and told them about how it helped our family and my son. And so the problem now isn't about knowing about CBD, it's about understanding the plant. And the plant was meant to be consumed as it was grown, just like every other plant that we have out there. And it's a food. It's a dietary essential, as Dr. William Courtney will go down that rabbit hole all the way down, and really understanding how this plant balances our body. We have the endocannabinoid system, which more people are familiar with. But that endocannabinoid system, which was only discovered in the early 90s, it balances all the other systems. And that's why so many people will come to us with all kinds of ailments and try this miracle plant, and then have these incredible stories to share. And that's what really kind of got this whole thing started, because they take some oil and it helps with one thing that they wanted relief from. And then, well, what's next? What else can I do myself, take control of my health? And that's when the water and the mindfulness and the exercise and the sleep and those 5 pillars all came in. But so the food and the nutrition and the supplements is really what it's all about. That's kind of the cornerstone, if you will, of our movement. And supplementing those other 4 pillars, working together, is really the value of holistic health. But I'll let my mom weigh in, because I know she's got plenty to share on the food and nutrition and supplement pillar.
Thanks, Justin. And what it always reminds me of too is we are kind of at this mini war, or maybe even a major war in America for our health. And it seems to me it's like the commercial major companies that have most of the funding and the money, and they're looking at efficiencies and the quickest way to make products, and the products with the longest shelf life and the cheapest products. And so they end up with all these brightly colored exciting, good tasting, addictive foods. And I do believe addiction is another part of the things they put into it, along with, the caffeines and all the different sugars that are addictive. And then you have this small, David versus Goliath, and we're the David, by the way, who are focused on more holistic approaches to everything and focused on health and helping people resolve or heal their problems. And that goes down to, you can't just throw big vats of everything in and find the cheapest, fastest way to make your CBD or the cheapest, fastest way to make your cereal. And so many people, if all you get your information about health from is watching television and television commercials, then you're not even going to have the slightest idea that there's another whole world out there of healthy ways to eat, or people not realizing how far we've gotten away from how our ancestors ate for hundreds of thousands of years. And our bodies don't just suddenly change. Evolution takes a long time, if we can even say that word anymore. But body changes to what we're eating. Our bodies don't change. And so that's why we have these horrendous amounts of people that are overweight, people that are dying young, unhealthy children. I mean, American kids are like 38th in the world for health. And we used to be so proud of how we were, living longer and longer in America. And now that's reversing. Our fertility is reversing. We have these huge warning signs like we do with climate change, as our body is also affected by all the things affecting the climate. And so it really is this battle to try to get the information out about there are better ways to eat. There are better ways to make sure you're getting your sleep. And there are better ways to treat your health problems than a huge array of pharmaceutical products. And so it really is important, in whatever venue we are in, to talk about these things. And that's why I'm so excited about this upcoming event, and it kind of spreads, just like our CBDA spreads, the success of one person, word of mouth, moving on. And so that's why we are doing this too, so people can understand that if you do truly want to be healthy and happy and have good sleep and be calm and have good relationships, that you do have to look at what you're eating and what you're drinking and how you're sleeping and all that whole range of things with health. So I'm very excited about the upcoming summit, and I hope more and more people join us and realize not only just in what CBD you choose, but also in what food and water and drinks and activities you choose.
Absolutely. Well, we are so excited, and it's going to be amazing. And we want you to go there. We want you to sign up for free, and there's also going to be an opportunity again for you to get the recordings, so you can have this be a part of your daily routine, and actually work with some of the speakers like myself and Janet and Dan and Steve and the Vrains and Mika and all the people that are going to be there. We want you to not just learn this information and be like, "Wow, that was really cool. That's really," and then and we all stumble, and we all go for the second serving of dessert or whatever it is. But we want you to. It's okay. That's all part of the learning process, and understanding like, okay, well, now I need to figure out a better way to make sure that I don't do that again. And that's what we really want. We really want you to not only learn this information, but to apply it and make sure that you're holding yourself accountable and you have an accountability group. And that's why there's the 10-day water challenge. And that's why there's some really cool technologies out there that are going to be able to help you change your relationship mentally. Because the mindset's really, really big. We have a lot of emotional eating in our country, and a lot of it is conditioning. And some of us don't even have a chance. And it literally is like taking the red pill in the Matrix or Alice in Wonderland. It's like there's the Matrix out there where everything is commercials, and it's consumerism, and everything is all just based on, how many people can we get them to buy our products, and who cares if it's good for them or not. It's really just about consumerism and squeezing every ounce of water out of that rock, if you will. And when you take the red pill, you start to see behind the matrix, and you see what it is, and you see for yourself, like, oh, so I can't rely on other people to ensure that I'm going to be healthy. Because if you just stop and take a step back and look at everything, just look at where we are as a country. We're talking about obesity, we're talking about life expectancy going down, we're talking about, people just just kind of zombies, right? I mean, the food we drink and the beverages that we consume, and if you just go to the mall or go out and look at people, like, we just don't look right. And the conversations that we have and the anxiety that we have and the sleep problems that we have and these innumerable diseases and names and acronyms that keep popping up, the system is not taking care of you. You need to take control of your health. And that's what this summit is all about. We're going to give you the insights. We're going to give you the tools. We're going to help you make sure that you implement these incredible, just 5 pillars that if you follow them on a consistent basis, we know you're going to be able to take control of your health and have a wonderful, happy, healthy life and be able to spread that with the next person and really keep this movement going. So just head on over to www.tcoyh.org. That's Take Control of Your Health. And we look forward to seeing you. It's January 14th. It's coming up. It's on Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific, and it's going to be so exciting. So thanks for swinging by the Miracle Plant Podcast. At the end of every show, we say heal the world, because that is our mission for what this Miracle Plant did for our family, for my son, and was done for so many thousands of other families. We're just continuing to educate, to pay it forward, to give people access to these products and take control of their own health, and it's proof in the pudding. So on the count of 3, we're going to say heal the world, so send out those positive vibes around the world so people can find us and can take control of their health. So let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Heal the world! Thanks for coming by the Miracle Plant Podcast, and we'll see you next week, and we hope to see you at the Take Control of Your Health Summit. Thanks for coming by. See you then.